Hey guys, this is Mark Wright from Argos Dog Training in Boston, and today in this video we'll be talking about an episode we recorded previously, which is called What to Do When Your Dog Refuses to Walk. So the reason why we chose this video is because there's a chance for some confusion in this one. The title of the video is What Do We Do When the Dog Refuses to Walk? But the exercise in the video shows, James and Hazel starting and stopping a lot. And what's the reason for that? Because a lot of the times when James stopped walking, Hazel would refuse to walk. That's why. So we just stop a lot so that way we have the ability to really isolate the problem, which is starting again. Another reason why we stopped a lot was because we wanted her to start to follow the leash. Feel the tension on the leash and move towards it. That's a big deal too, and we'll discuss that a little bit more as we start to get into the review of the video. But getting her to follow the leash is another reason why we had to start and stop a lot as we're going along in this video. Camera, are you there? When we say engagement, we mean just getting the dog's attention on you. Having it so the dog wants to follow. Hazel right now is kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this communication stuff today. She's in a pretty good mood. She's doing all right. But it's basically engaging with the dog, showing them what's right, what's wrong. And if you notice, I'm really engaging a lot when I say yes and all that kind of stuff to her. All right, here we go. She's ready. All right, so all you're gonna do is just start walking with her. Just start walking, and then you're gonna stop with the left leg out in front of the right leg. Tension's on. A little more. You wanna feel, you'll feel when she moves back. Release, good. If she moves her paw back in the direction you want to go, any at all, then that's a release. Tell her good, and go. Let's go. And then stopping again. No. You might need to shorten your leash. Yeah, just hold. You want to hold there. You'll see her start to move. You could use let's go. You could say something like that. But you want to keep that tension on until she moves a little in the direction you want her to go. There you go. This is it. This is exactly how it's supposed to go. Good, and go. That's good, that's good. Excellent, and go. And stop. Nope, again. All right, so what we're seeing here is we're seeing James and Hazel working together. I'm asking Hazel, I'm asking James to start and stop multiple times. One question you might have is if the video is called What Do I Do When My Dog Refuses to Walk? Why are you stopping so much? This is just a small part of what we're doing that day. The reason why I'm stopping so much is because we're working on teaching the dog the concept of leash tension and active release. And that's the same thing why we're having her go back using the leash tension. The idea there is that once she starts to respond to, I feel a little tension in my leash going this way and I should move that way, then it becomes easier for us to get her to walk when she doesn't want to walk. The other thing that is happening is that dogs have oppositional reflex, meaning that if I pull in this direction, chances are they're gonna lean in the opposite direction. That's natural for the dog. If you push your dog, if you put your hand on your dog and you kind of lean in a little bit, you'll feel your dog pushing back against your hand, right? So for push or for pull, if I pull, they're gonna try to resist that. If I push, they're gonna try to also push.
So for push or pull, they're gonna do the opposite just from oppositional reflex, just because that's the way dogs are. But in time, what can happen is that we could condition the dog to follow where the leash goes. In the beginning, for a dog and for a person, is very tricky. James did real well this day, and so did Hazel. But the first lesson, which this is on this, is very tricky to get the timing right, to get the amount of energy that you want to put through the leash right and all of that. And it's also tricky from the dog's point of view to learn how to overcome that oppositional reflex. That is why we're starting and stopping over and over again. Other things that I do normally that I'm not doing yet with James is that we use food a lot. We use food a lot more, but the timing and being able to get the food out, all of that depends on experience, some of it, you know, knowing how to hold the leash and all that. For now, I think we're just mainly focused on, you know, the leash tension and active release. Also, I believe, if I remember correctly, didn't mention it in this video, there were fireworks that day. There's a chance that Hazel decided not to take treats because she is a dog that is sensitive to fireworks. So there's a chance that she was just not taking food at that time, which happens from time to time. But let's continue with the video and see what's up.
This is exactly how it's supposed to go. This is where you start to show her, like when you...
All right, so there's a couple things that's kind of slowing down the progress. One is, if you watch real closely, James is releasing tension when the dog is not moving. And what I mean by that is we make a little bit of tension going this way, the dog moves their nose this way, and then we release the tension, and then we reapply because it didn't move enough, right? In this case, James is just releasing tension when Hazel's not moving, and that's gonna make it kind of confusing for Hazel in what causes the release. This is actually a pretty common thing in my experience with new clients when they're first starting to learn tension and active release. It takes a little bit, you know, to really start watching, you know, the action of the dog and timing our reaction to their action in an efficient way, so that way it's clear to the dog that we're working with.
When you make your mind up about something, that's the way it's gonna be, you know? And right now she's showing that she also has a mind, and she wants to think when she makes her mind up about something, if that could possibly be the way it's gonna go.
Another thing that people commonly do, and there's a good chance that James and Hazel are doing this together right now, is that when the dog kind of gets stuck and they're making tension on the leash, we look into the dog's eyes. Remember, a way to add energy is make eye contact. So what do you mean add energy, Martin? Right now the dog Hazel is using some energy to stay in position, to stay where she is. You know, she's being a little bit like resistant. And then if we add energy to her at that exact moment, what can happen is the energy that we add can go into her resistance. She could become more resistant because we're looking her in the eye. You know, she has more energy for that behavior. When I'm showing a dog something with leash tension and active release, I'm very careful not to make direct eye contact. I need to look at some point on the dog's body so I know what the dog is doing, and then my peripheral vision, if I focus on the dog's chest, my peripheral vision I'll see the whole dog's body. So that's a thing that's a pretty common mistake that people will do.
So here you shouldn't be trying to make eye contact with her. You should be looking more at her chest, at her feet, you know.
Once again, in the video, I just said that exact same thing, don't make eye contact. So.
You could be looking at her head, but you're not trying to stare in her eyes, right? You could shorten your leash a little bit.
All right, when I shorten the leash, normally I don't release leash tension as I do it. I'm able to shorten in a way that the leash tension stays on and the shortening happens at the same time. The reason why we shorten the leash, the reason why I recommended shorten the leash right there is because if our arm is extended too far from our body, the muscles that extend the arm gets tired. By shortening the leash, usually we could bring our arms in closer to the body, which means that we're able to use tension without our muscles getting tired. Also, we're able to use less force, so we don't need to use as much energy to get the same effect with the dog, basically.
That way it's easier for you to make tension. You don't want more tension. You just want it to be easier for you to make that amount that you have. You could talk to her a bit to help her move back.
So right there, we see, there was a couple seconds ago, we see Hazel go from looking one direction, looking forward, and she turned her head towards James's hand. With me, as soon as the head turns towards the hand, I drop tension off the leash. And then, of course, I bring it right back if she doesn't move.
Increase a little. Increase a little more. So this is going to be mainly the tricep and the arm swinging back behind you more than your wrist, right? And increase a little bit more. Release, yep. And on again. You want to be fast with that. Release and come back, right? So as soon as she comes off, you go off, but then you're right back. Here we go. Yeah. You might need to shorten your leash. I don't know. I don't know how it feels for you. But you want it to be as easy for you to move back as possible. She is being a little bit insubordinate here. That's all right. But you got to get her back. Without pulling her back. Yep.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of this is just timing, right? And timing gets better as our
you got to get her back.
As our experience
without
increases.
Pulling her. You got to be enough force where she's like, you're not moving her, but she moves herself.
And it's hard. You know, experience goes a long way in being able to do these things, especially with a dog like Hazel, who I believe at the time was like 4 years old and has been practicing this behavior for 4 years. You know, timing experience is a big deal. That same day I worked with James and I was holding the leash. And we didn't want to release it at that time, and I don't think we have that data anymore. But it was a lot different. I know that. I remember that. But that's experience. Experience goes a long way.
You could increase a little bit. You don't want to pull her, but if she's really locking in, you can increase a bit.
Being a new person, the association can help as well.
Right?
Right.
You want to go just to that line.
Because I'm a new person, she doesn't have as
if I
long
went
a
any
history
stronger, I'd be
doing
moving
these
you,
kind of
but
things
I'm not
with
moving
me.
you.
My opinion is I would go, if I was in James' position, I probably would be a little bit stronger with my leash tension, but every time that the nose moves towards the direction.
On again, on off, right?
Every time the nose moves towards the direction, I would make sure I drop leash tension off. Even when James takes off the leash tension, we don't see
when
the
she gets
clip
back, you're going to tell her,
drop.
good job, and you're going to pet her.
We have to make sure that clip is dropping down every single time. Because when he releases, I could tell he's releasing, like he's thinking release, but I don't see that as a full release from the dog. And those are things that are going to slow things down a bit.
I just want you to get her back there so that way I could jump in.
There you go.
Good. Pet that dog. Excellent. So that was really good. You felt like what it was.
So we're seeing here too,
success.
there's another thing going on here. As the petting is occurring, Hazel's not really engaged in that petting. You know, and that is an experience thing as well, something that, you know, over time and you go through these things, you get a little bit better at how to really engage her and make her go, oh, this is good petting, and turn and look.
Right? We have to isolate that so that way you get success a lot more often. So I think it's the time in between when you disengage and re-engage. We want to make that shorter.
All right, now we're
that looks
working
good.
with food a little bit.
As long as she's behind your heel.
We're doing the one-step game. So it looks like I just came out of, I was working with her, and then James is taking over right after me. There you go. Yeah, that's better.
That's it.
And then he
That's
goes.
good. And
That's
going,
good.
tension, release. And stopping. Yes. Careful with that left hand. You don't want to be holding with the left hand on too much. You don't want to stop her from making a mistake. You want the mistake.
In this case, the mistake is crossing
Because it is
his
because
heel.
of the mistake that you're able to teach her what you mean. Without the mistake, she doesn't know what you mean.
Tension, release.
All the way. Yes, that's good.
All right. Another thing that we see is timing, even here on when to say yes and when to reward. That's a little bit off. Those things come with practice, you know, so over time that'll get easier and easier. For James.
And then going. Excellent. And stopping. Yes. There you go. Now, in order for her to be able to do this game on the sidewalk, she has to be paying somewhat attention to you, right? So if it is a loud environment, like a motorcycle, fireworks, or something like that, you could actually use this as a barometer to tell how concerned she is. And stopping? Yes. You can start to use that to tell how concerned she is. Excellent. And going. Good. If it is not a situation where there's nerves, this game can actually turn out to be pretty fun because you're trying to win and she's trying to win. So you're trying to end up with your leg out and she's in front of you. That's the game, right? Excellent. Start walking and then offer her the food. Then offer her the food when you're walking. Maybe she wants water.
Nope. She doesn't want water.
Maybe she doesn't.
Maybe she does. Just a low tail. Let's go. Doink.
Tension, release, tension.
Yeah. So a lot of this is just experience, really. You know, and we have to kind of go through it in order to get the experience we need in order to make it less likely. That was a good start.
There you go.
That was a good
There
start.
you go.
That was nice.
Excellent.
Yep. James is ready. I'm already seeing an improvement in his ability to stop tension quicker and to reapply it quicker. So there's already some changes. Yep, that was a release that we didn't need. There.
Excellent. Good job.
Good job.
And stop.
Good. That's a little
Good.
bit quicker
And go.
response from her.
And stop.
This is where we need to get careful. We need to be
There you go.
careful
That's it. Good. And
that
go.
we don't use too
And stop.
much because repetition
Yes.
will start to make it so that way it's
Excellent.
easy to go stronger. All right, so that's the video. If your dog is a dog that refuses to walk and you've watched this video where we're doing starts and stops, I have a few more quick tips for you that might be able to help your dog to start to walk. One of them is get the dog moving in any direction. Although in this video we're really focused on getting the dog to move forward, if you get the dog moving backwards sometime, away in the direction that you were coming from before they stopped walking, that could get them moving, and then we can start to play with them a little bit there, use food games and things like that, and then kind of turn around and end up going in the direction we want to go anyway. That's a good little tip. Another good little tip is to stop right where you are and have some other game that you could play with your dog. With my dogs, they know a bunch of food games. They also have toy games. We also have personal play games. We can For my dogs, I say, you ready? And now they know it's playtime. So even if they're being stubborn, I go, you ready? And they go, yeah, it's time to play. And they come right out of that stubborn mindset. Of course, food is a big deal too. While this video is really focusing on using our attention and our active release, we can use food as a way to be able to change the dog's mind, get the dog thinking about food instead of thinking about resisting. Anything that we can do to change the state of mind of the dog will go a long way in helping them. If you like what you see here today, then definitely subscribe to our channel. And until next time, enjoy your day.